In a kingdom far, far away, there lived a rather unusual prince, Freddie, who had been turned into a frog by a wicked witch. This is a story unlike any other, a tale of a prince who found himself in a predicament that's hard to fathom. Freddie wasn't always a frog, you see. He was once a proud and arrogant prince, ruling his kingdom with an iron fist. But his pride and arrogance didn't sit well with everyone, particularly a wicked witch who despised his haughty nature. And so, one day, she decided to teach Freddie a lesson he would never forget. With a flick of her wand and a mischievous grin, she transformed our handsome prince into a small green frog. And in the blink of an eye, Freddie's life changed forever. He found himself living in the pond of his own grand castle, longing for his lost human form. And so our tale begins with Freddie, the prince, now a frog, living in a grand castle's pond, yearning for his lost human form. As a frog, Freddie had to adjust to a new way of life, which was not easy for a prince used to luxury. Imagine one day you're lounging in your royal chambers, the next you're hopping around a pond, dodging lily pads. Freddie's princely robes were replaced with a slick green skin, and his royal feast with a diet of insects. Yuck. But Freddie, being the resilient prince he was, adapted to his new circumstances. Life in the pond was a far cry from the comfort of the palace. Freddie had to learn the ways of the wild. He had to dodge predators, deal with the harsh elements, and yes, even master the art of catching flies. It was a rough transition, but Freddie was determined to survive. Despite his new froggy form, Freddie never lost his princely demeanor. He carried himself with grace even while hopping, and treated all creatures with kindness, just as he would his subjects. His charm and charisma made him popular among the pond dwellers, and soon, Freddie found himself the prince of the pond. Yet, there was a longing in Freddie's heart, a longing to return to his human form, to reclaim his rightful place as prince. He yearned for the days of feasting on royal banquets instead of flies, of commanding respect not just from frogs, but from humans too. This longing fueled his relentless search for a cure to the witch's spell. He sought the wisdom of the wise old turtle, the cunning of the crafty fox, and the knowledge of the learned owl. He braved dangerous terrains, faced fearsome beasts, and overcame numerous obstacles. But no matter how many times he was knocked down, Freddie got back up, dusted himself off, and continued his quest. Freddie's journey was filled with hardship and disappointment, but it also taught him resilience, courage, and the value of perseverance. It reminded him that no matter how hard things get, one should never lose hope. Despite the hardships, Freddie never lost hope and continued to search for a way to break the wicked witch's spell. His story is far from over, and his quest continues. Who knows what adventures await our brave frog prince? One day, while feeling particularly downcast, Freddie spotted a beautiful princess by the pond, weeping softly. Even though he was just a small green frog, Freddie's heart filled with empathy. He hopped closer, pushing through the tall grass, his eyes fixed on the princess. Her golden hair shimmered in the sun, and her blue eyes, although filled with tears, sparkled like the pond's surface. She seemed so lost, so alone, and Freddie, despite his frog form, felt a strong urge to comfort her. With a deep breath, Freddie gathered his courage and hopped onto a lily pad close to the princess. He looked up at her, his eyes full of understanding. The princess, surprised, looked down to find a little frog staring at her. Despite her sorrow, she couldn't help but giggle at the sight. Freddie, seizing the moment, let out a series of ribbits, attempting to mimic a comforting tune. The princess, her curiosity piqued, watched as Freddie performed his little serenade, his throat puffing out with each note. A small smile began to form on her face, the first one she had managed all day. Freddie, seeing her smile, felt his heart swell. He might have been a frog, but in that moment, he'd managed to bring some joy to this kind-hearted princess. The princess reached out a hand, gently picking up Freddie. She held him close, laughing as he continued his ribbiting melody. Something about this strange, charming frog warmed her heart and lightened her mood. She found herself sharing her troubles with him, speaking to him as though he were an old friend. Moved by Freddie's kindness, the princess made a promise to help him break the spell, unaware of the journey that awaited them. The sun began to set, casting long shadows across the pond. But for the first time in a long time, Freddie felt hopeful. His life as a frog might soon be over, and he had found a new friend in this kind-hearted princess. With the princess's help, Freddie embarked on a daring adventure to break the spell. The path they tread was not easy. It was a journey filled with trials and tribulations, where each step taken was a testament to their bravery and determination. They crossed treacherous rivers, where the waters roared like thunder, and the currents were as relentless as time itself. They climbed towering mountains, where the peaks kissed the sky, and the chill of the winds could freeze the warmest of hearts. Yet, they pushed forward, their resolve unbroken, their spirits undeterred. They faced fearsome creatures, beasts of legends that roared in defiance and bared their fangs. Yet, they stood their ground, their courage unwavering, their faith unshaken. For they knew the spell could only be broken by the purest of hearts and the bravest of spirits. And then, the moment of truth arrived. With the princess's gentle kiss, the magic began to stir, the air shimmered with anticipation, and the world held its breath. A hush fell over the land as the spell started to unravel, the enchantment breaking apart, piece by piece. With a flash of light and a burst of magic, Freddie was no longer a frog, but a prince, once again. His transformation was not just a physical change, but a testament to the power of friendship, courage, and love that had led them through their extraordinary journey. Freddie's journey from prince to frog and back to prince was not just a magical adventure, but also a journey of personal growth. His transformation was more than just physical. It was a journey filled with challenges, unexpected friendships, and heartfelt moments. Freddie's adventure from his enchanted pond to the princess's castle and his eventual transformation back into a prince was indeed a whirlwind. And so, Freddie learned a valuable lesson about humility and kindness, proving that true magic lies not in spells but in one's character.